Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode of Holtecast from 7500 to Holt. As always, I'm Jack Grimsey alongside Robert Lintott. How you doing today, Robert?
Oh, great. How about you, Jack?
Doing well, doing well. Been really pleased with the Villa results lately. That's obviously been amazing. 3 wins and a draw from 4. Don't think anyone saw this start to the season, but honestly, I think it's what Villa are going to need because they're going to have a really tough stretch of matches coming up. Already started that with Liverpool, but went to Anfield, got the win. You were out of town again for the game. It's been funny so far this season. Robert's missed 3 games, and coincidentally, or maybe not, Villa have won all 3 of those matches.
I appear to be Villa's West Bromwich albatross here, so it's a bad situation. So if you go to the site, we've started a Kickstarter to send me on a semi-permanent vacation so the Villa win out for the rest of the season.
Not really, but yeah. But have you considered actually? What if you went to Villa Park?
Then I'm pretty sure I would rip a hole into the fabric of the universe.
Yeah, that would definitely be.
Or alternatively, literally everyone on the pitch would break their leg. That was in claret and blue.
Would that be in part to Alan Hutton or?
Probably his fault. I don't know.
Yeah. So last week, Robert actually met a real life West Brom fan in America.
So yeah, the reason I missed the Liverpool match, I was up at a conference at West Point in New York, and I got done with the conference, and my car was parked over by the soccer pitch, and they've got lights on, and I saw that Army was playing Quinnipiac, or however the hell you say that name, and I figured, what the heck, I'll go watch a half of D1 soccer. And some cadets are standing behind me talking about playing, and some British guy comes up behind us and starts chatting with him. I guess he's the club coach for West Point. And they ask him, so what team are you a fan of? And he says, oh, I'm a West Brom fan. Right?
And they're like, so what team are you a fan of? Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. The West Brom Albatross? We don't know. And I turned around and I said, oh, I'm a Villa fan. And I tried to give the guy the benefit of a doubt. I was going to be nice. I was going to chat with him. Instantly starts bitching about the fact that Gabby Ekbonloher has a lot of baby mamas.
So, I mean, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. We're not really going to take a West Brom's fan's word for it, but we were just mad that really that we didn't have that knowledge before naming our fantasy teams this year. No, you mentioned it. Robert and I, we were just talking a little bit about that. I know my team's pretty bad. I'm trying to write that article for everyone trying to improve your teams. I think I had good tips like getting Costa as captain, but honestly, 5 of my players didn't even play last week. But I mean, Robert retooling his team only got room for improvement at this point.
I jumped up by 8 spots this week from dead last to 175 out of 183.
So I mean, if you keep going at that pace, there's still what 34 games left, and I think Villa got to realize that it's a long season ahead of them. Even though they did get the win over Liverpool, I know you had a chance to go back and watch the match. What really did you think Villa did so well?
The thing that struck me was, when I got the alerts on my phone, I was looking Villa 25% possession, and everyone just praising what a fantastic defensive effort it was. It was a defensive masterclass, but what really struck me was the fact that defensive masterclass began in the midfield.
Yeah, it was really a team performance, and I mean, yeah, Tom in his second day looking back piece called it a textbook away smash and grab, and I think you'd have to say so. But Villa really deserved the goal because they came out of the blocks, they were flying, and the first 15 minutes they dominated. Senderos almost made it 2-0, and after that point, Villa realized maybe if we keep pushing everyone forward on these set pieces, we could get broken against. But I mean, I think on this another note on the set pieces, I think Westwood's delivery has been superb.
Absolutely, I was gonna say he was unquestionably the unheralded hero from this match.
Yeah, and definitely unheralded by me. I even forgot him in the man of the match poll. I know a couple people commented they thought he did well.
I don't think he got man of the match. I don't think he was man of the match worthy, so it's okay. But
he wasn't the spectacular play of the day, but he did have a really solid effort. I think I gave him a 7 in the team ratings.
Yeah, he was absolutely outstanding. His his set piece performance reminds me a little bit of what he did against Manchester United at Old Trafford last year.
Yeah, I think Villa actually are going to have some dangerous set piece takers. I know I was looking forward to seeing Gary Gardner because I know he's really talented in that area, but I mean we're not going to get a chance to see him at least till January. But Nzogbia can hit a free kick. Leandro Bacuna, who looks like he's just I don't know, he might as well be out on training in Portugal or something, whatever, when they went to the trip, whatever. But he's in the wilderness. Hutton has thrown him into the wilderness. But I think Bacuna has good set piece delivery. Agbia, and now Westwood.
But the thing was, we've seen Villa players have matches where they have good piece delivery. I don't think I saw a single set piece mistake from Westwood.
That's what's important. Even if you watch Di Maria hit his first corner for Manchester United, it was unplayable. It went out.
And these were all either incredibly playable or better. Like, the worst set piece he had was good. And
exactly.
It's been so long since I've actually taken note of Villa doing set pieces in a positive way that maybe I'm overselling it because, oh God, I'm not used to it. But it struck me...
So that would have been probably when we had Young?
Yeah, maybe even before then. I mean, it's been ages since we could competently take a set piece.
Yeah, I don't disagree there because, it's like they never even trained them last year. And the year before that, Villa conceded every goal from a corner.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. And yet this year they look so much better. But like you said,
because we saw the absence of Vlar, and I think that the lineup came out and everyone's like, oh God, Vlar failed the fitness test. Bunker instantly, and it's Baker, and I think it was just Villa fans expected the worst from the off.
Mm-hmm. I think you're absolutely right. And Baker came out and impressed, and the midfield came out and did what we didn't see the midfield do last year. Cleverly was very quietly a potent force in that game.
Exactly. Yeah, I think alongside Delph and Westwood, and then maybe if when we get Benteke back, we'd be able to sacrifice one of Vyman or Gabby and then play Carlos Sanchez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Except at this point, where do you fit Sanchez? Because if you've got that...
You could have a deep double pivot, him and Westwood. You have Sanchez win the ball and then just pass it 1 foot away to Westwood.
Yeah, so Sanchez, Westwood, Delph...
And then you'd have Delph. Delph would be able to go forward a little bit, too.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that I didn't like tactically out of this game, and it worked perfectly well, so I wasn't upset, I didn't like the fact that it looked like Delph was getting pushed left a bit more than... I like Delph in more of a central role. And it seemed like he kept getting pushed left, where he's effective. And he played really well in sort of that left side role last year, but I think he's better in the center. So I hope that that's not a trend that continues.
Yeah, he's perfectly fine on the left. It's just he doesn't see enough action. He's not in the middle to make those tackles or to get forward. But
yeah, that's exactly it. It's I want Delph involved with almost everything.
You want him to have as much influence as possible, definitely, because he's one of the best players in the squad. And I think Delph and Cleverly really kind of give the midfield a higher pedigree than really what we've seen the past couple years, especially.
It worries me with Cleverly because it almost reminds me of Ryan Bertrand last year, where out of the gate he looked spectacular and then he just nosedived.
Yeah, but it's like we still have the option to buy. I don't think there's anything that can go wrong. You have no obligation to play a player who maybe isn't going to play for you in the future, unless he's your best option.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just... The worry on my part is I don't want to get my hopes up too much.
Oh, for sure. But I like how we do have that buy option in January, and I think it's just a good situation for Manchester United as well. I don't think they're actively looking to bring him back now with Ender Herrera and Lind now in midfield for them. So yeah. I think their midfield's pretty full, and they're still going to be looking to get players out. So
yeah, absolutely. And And I know it's a small sample size, but if Cleverley plays like we saw over the weekend, then he's a player that Villa should buy.
And it's not even a lot to ask for because if you watched him at Wigan a couple years ago, that's exactly the player he was.
Absolutely. It was the thing that impressed me most, I guess, was the lack of mistakes.
Yeah, it was just a match where it's like if the ref has a good match, you don't notice him because it was consistent and everything happened. There were no glaring holes. No one played a back pass straight to Liverpool to Balotelli or Coutinho, whatever. But yeah, it was just a solid performance really from the midfield, I'd have to say.
And speaking of Balotelli, they did a fantastic job. This was more on the back line. Did a fantastic job of making him pretty much useless.
Yeah, I don't like the dirty play from Senderos, but I think it made Balotelli uncomfortable. I think he's uncomfortable to begin with at Liverpool. He needs time to settle in. You can't just get a new striker and throw him into the team who's been training together all summer, especially since they've brought in so many new guys. It's like the Bale effect. You got rid of Bale, whatever. You bought a bunch of players. Same thing for Suarez. You bought a bunch of players. It'll probably make you a better squad in the Champions League because it will give you depth, and that's what you need to be competitive in the Champions League this year. So I think it's good for Liverpool, but they're still working out the kinks, and they'll be fine, I think, but it's just going to take some time, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, there's no way we can condone that trip from Senderos on Balotelli. But, it's...
I think it's fine to go out and shove him around and kind of just try to get under his skin because really it's just going to come back to haunt you when he scores a wonder goal.
Yeah, it's true.
He had a really great effort that was just barely deflected. It went out for the corner. That was a screamer.
Yeah, it was a little dicey at times. I wish Senderos hadn't done that trip because there was no need for it. I'm not sure. The commentator said if the ref had seen that, that's an instant red.
I don't know.
Part of me thinks so because it was off the ball. But in terms of actual...
It was an off-the-ball foul. It's not like he was the last man, and that's why it would have been a red.
But it might have been...
If it's seen as a totally dirty kick, then yeah, but it's not like you punched him in the face.
Yeah, it might have been a red simply because it was off the ball. Because it's like, where the hell did that come from? But in terms of the actual physicality, it wasn't quite what Liverpool fans worked it up to be.
Unless the ref's right on top of that and sees exactly what he did, I think he's going to have a hard time sending him off. Honestly, it's too much ambiguity in it.
Absolutely. And regardless of the physical play from Villa, Liverpool were unable to break down that back line, which has been the story for 4 matches now.
Yeah, which I think Nathan Baker, he's really good in the air. And Liverpool tried to cross it and literally got nothing out of it all day and decided, okay. Villa backline, you can say they played deep, but they pushed up high enough to limit Liverpool to a lot of shots from outside the area.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Tom's analysis of Villa's tactics against Liverpool were spot on. It started at the top with Gabby harassing Gerrard, and it went all the way back. And that backline...
Gerrard's not a defensive midfielder. It's funny. I think that's the position Liverpool really needed to sign the most, and honestly, letting Alex Song get to West Ham, I think it has to go down as a fail for them.
Yeah, and they're also faced with the problem of can you really bump Gerrard out of your lineup? He's such
and the problem that they just don't like Lucas Leiva for whatever reason,
which is odd. Yeah, I agree. Lallana showed some bright moments for them. He had that.
Yeah, Lallana will be back to being really good, I think, and by season's end.
Yeah, I think he will be a good addition for them. But
I was scared of Markovic. I was scared of him when he was in the lineup. I was glad Sterling wasn't starting.
Was it Markovic that had a shot on goal within like 6 minutes or something like that?
I think so. It was the volley.
Yeah, and it was a nice little. There was one that got volleyed over that wasn't even close, and then there was one that it went straight to Guzan, and Guzan handled it nicely, but that's more on Guzan because it was a good shot. Liverpool.
Yeah, Guzan had a good game.
Yeah.
He didn't have. Well, when he needed to, he did it.
Yeah. The thing that struck me in watching this match afterwards is I expected based on possession statistics and whatnot, a desperate affair. Despite the fact that I had heard everyone saying Villa did a really great job of defending, I expected it to be one of those things where you go, oh God, it's going to break eventually. And I didn't get that sense watching it. It felt very calm and controlled.
Yeah, I would have to say that's what it was. That was my initial impression too, was that the team acted like they'd been there before.
Yeah,
They acted like they were the better side, even if they had to go to Liverpool. And frankly, Paul Lambert has Brendan Rodgers' number.
he does, absolutely. But I mean, it's so starkly night and day to me, because if you compare this to the team that tried to park the bus against Manchester City at the end of last season.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You see, because there, once it sort of, any real pressure was applied, because Man City came out all weird, but once they finally started applying pressure, Villa just crumbled. And I think if you were able to put this squad in that match, it would have ended up a 0-0 draw.
I mean, yeah, or definitely maybe 1-0, I think, still with having the options they did at striker, Dzeko or Negredo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, City probably would have got...
Balotelli's a fairly physical guy, but he doesn't have the height that those kind of guys do. And, I mean, Yaya Toure, even though he was terrible in fantasy and had to drop him, he's a freak, basically, most of the time. Like, his goal, he gets the ball at his own box, and he runs forward and scores effortlessly.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. But I was so blown away by the stark difference between...
I think that just the team's defensive shape, and it's not just the back line, which was incredible, but Delph Cleverley and Westwood are not stupid. They kept the shape and didn't get sucked out going forward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It was a smart tactical performance, the likes of which we have not seen in ages.
I mean, like, Delph plays for England, does well. The biggest complaint he gets from people is, can he pass? Like, sure, no, he's never going to hit a Hollywood ball like a 40-yard diagonal over the top, but does he ever need to?
No, absolutely not.
I mean, yeah, it'd be nice if he could, but honestly, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, and I actually kind of hope he doesn't, because, remember when Barry Bannon found out that he could do that once every 50 times, and then he tried it?
Yeah, but Barry Bannon's not going box to box and making tackles.
Yeah, it's true, but I just...
No, I agree. I mean, there is a place in the team for those kind of players a lot of times, but not for Villa right now. It's like Darren Bent. Darren Bent was a great player when you had people who were getting him service, and Young and Downing, who's actually, I think, man of the match the other day for West Ham against Hull. Like, they were able to get the ball in, but without those guys providing pinpoint service, Bent's a luxury player.
Yeah.
That's where you see Benteke is better, because a lot of people have talked about Sissoko going forward, and he's been adventurous, and I have to give him credit for that, but he hasn't been amazing. But to be fair, the crosses he's putting in, those are going to get to Benteke or Kozak when they come back.
Yeah, absolutely. But one of the really amazing things about this start has been the defensive effort, and we kind of want to talk a little bit about the back line here. Just to put this into perspective, through 4 matches, Villa have conceded 1 goal. If they were to keep that pace up for the season, they would concede 9.5 goals.
Yeah, well, you could. I think the over/under for Chelsea goals in any one game could be 9.5 at some point. I'm frankly terrified of facing them.
Yeah, but 9.5 goals. I'm willing to say that maybe this is a little bit of an aberration. So let's round up, and let's say at the end of the season,
let's round up to 40.
Yep, Villa have conceded 10. What do we think? Totally doable, right?
Yeah. Probably gonna punch myself in the face and make sure I'm not dreaming, but I mean,
but it really does come down to this back line. So what have you seen that you've really liked out of them?
Well, what I've seen is that Hutton has actually been effective at right back. Hutton never needs to get forward.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's been stunning to watch Villa have effective right and left backs at the same time.
Yeah, and we thought so much, and still a lot of it could be due to this, but the influence of Vlar. Like, okay, yeah, Vlar, maybe not the best player ever, not the best center back, whatever. but he improves everyone else around him by a lot, and maybe those guys have improved just from playing with him. Senderos, Baker played with him at times last year, and then the other two guys, the fullbacks, Sissoko and Hutton.
Yeah,
I mean,
it very well could be that Villar influence, and I think he's one of the top central backs in the world right now.
he showed it at the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly, but you kind of hit on something there. It's not all about his skill. It's about the fact that he marshals a defense better than almost anyone around.
Yeah, I mean, no one's ever going to confuse him for the best center back in the world, and you probably wouldn't build a team around him if you had an infinite budget, but if you're a team like Villa, where he's the best player on that back line like he was for the Netherlands, I think people really respect him. He's shown that, like, a lot of people would complain about his speed maybe, but I think I retweeted a video on the 7500 Holt Twitter a little while ago. It was last year of him in the match against Chelsea just catching or going step for step with Eden Hazard. So really, I think Villar is really a solid center back.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. It's been incredible to see what he's done this year. I hope he comes back quickly, because as much as I like Nathan,
I think he'll be back this weekend.
Yeah, I think so too. But as much as I liked Baker's performance, I would rather see Villar there.
Yeah, and Baker's performance was really encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's if he can actually play at that level, maybe last year's stupidity was a one-year aberration.
And we haven't even seen Yoris Akora yet. And I think the thing with Baker is he was so good in the air that I think there's going to be a place for him, and there's going to be a place for a back three in a lot of matches for Villa. When all center backs are healthy, particularly Villar and Akora, because Akora can run. That dude can run, and he's really strong as well. And if Villa can work on it against two strikers, two really powerful strikers, like you're probably going to see Van Persie and Falcao or something. That's a disgusting combination, and you're going to always want to have a spare man at the back. Falcao, I think, is the best header of the ball in the game, and he's only 5'10".
Yeah. The question is, we talked a lot before the season that we could see those three center back formations from Villa, and we haven't seen any hint of it yet.
No, I think it's just been due to injury. I think if he's going to have that, he's going to need Akora, who's going to be able to match a quick striker for pace, because you can't just have Villar and Senderos up there just kicking people to stop them from running in behind. Let's be honest.
And so essentially, you're saying if he goes with a three back, he needs to have four healthy center backs.
At least.
Okay. That makes some sense.
Yeah, you need a very reliable option on the bench, and if that's whoever's the reliable option, if it's going to be Senderos, if it's going to be Baker, if it's going to be Akora, you need to really have five, I think, because otherwise it's like through the whole week, coming into the Monday's week of training, I think you need to have five available center backs for that match Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise it's too much of a risk.
I thought in the back line, Sissoko had not a jaw-dropping game, but a very good game, and it must have been fantastic for him to have a good game at Anfield.
Exactly, yeah. Like I was saying, I think last year was the worst year of his career. It's behind him now. It's hilarious because some Liverpool fans, like I was saying, thought he's the worst left back ever, and he comes out and puts a great shift in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another 7 out of 10 performance, and if you know you're going to get that from your left back every week, and you're never going to complain.
Yeah, absolutely. And then over at right back, we've got a new contract boy.
Yeah, so, like we were saying, Hutton in the wilderness for a couple of years, comes back, gets a new 3-year deal, and he's 30 right now?
29.
29, okay. So, even in his time off, I say time off when he was at Mallorca and wherever, but he was playing for Scotland, and it was just hilarious because he was starting for Scotland and couldn't even not train with the youth team at Villa. And he's been rejuvenated, and I think it's really bad news for Matt Lowton, who I think was becoming a fan favorite 2 years ago, really, and actually a lot of people were thinking he could go on to play for England.
Yeah, so it's true. I wonder with Hutton signing, do we see Lowton pushed around at all, or do we see Lowton just sort of fall out of favor?
Lowton could even play in that right center back role in a back three, and he has done so in the past.
Yeah, I think he could do that. I think I think what it definitely does, the signing of Hutton, is it pushes Loughton into sort of that number 2 right back position and pushes Bakuna into maybe a midfield position.
Oh,
Maybe
and I
finally
think
gets.
Bakuna, if we're going with a wingback, I think Bakuna should be first choice still. And Loughton could even operate as a wingback because his crossing ability is good. He can
I
play good crossing from deep.
I kind of hope though that this is the push that gets Bakuna to the midfield permanently. I would rather see him there.
We talked a little bit in the past about Bakuna playing like a cam, a central attacking mid. Do you think we could see him there at the tip of a diamond?
Yeah, I think you could. I think you could see him, and maybe I'm wrong here because it's been a while since we've seen him do anything like this, but I think you could see him do what we've asked of Inzogbia for a good part of this season, except I think you could see it more consistently than what we get from Inzogbia.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as flashy, but I mean, I think you'd know what you're going to get a lot of the times from Bakuna.
Yeah, absolutely. Inzogbia will have those moments of transcendence and then 45 minutes of just disappearing.
Yeah, and I mean that's fine because sometimes you can put him on for 45 minutes and get a good shift out of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the improvement of the defense has come down to Paul Lambert, but also to Roy Keane. So, I mean, right before we started recording, I retweeted a picture that had a Roy Keane beard on everyone in the Villa team picture.
You
think the beard is what's
I think the beard is the thing that's making this club work. Because even Lambert's trying to grow a beard now. Hilarious.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was just like kind of a hockey playoff beard, like I'm not gonna shave until we stop winning, or if it was one of those
I hope
kind
so.
of things.
And I hope by the end of the season it's some big scraggly thing.
Yeah, that would be. I think that would be great to see for Lambert, for Villa, really.
But do we have any way of really quantifying the impact that Keane has had, aside from the fact that this team the team looks like it has more spine than it ever has?
I mean, the team's winning, so you can't say that he's done a bad job.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't quite say that he's the reason. You can't give him all the credit, but I think he's been a good influence, really, and he was on that 2-year deal with Ireland from 2013, so he's about halfway through that. His contract with Villa was an undisclosed length, but I think it's fine if he's working as an assistant for both, even though it's weird that he's with Martin O'Neill at Ireland.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange. I saw someone the other day, and I'm not sure if I agree with them, but I saw someone compare this club to we haven't seen the club play like this since under Martin O'Neill, and it just made me think, I wonder, with Keane, working with O'Neill...
What do you mean, like actually winning?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what they meant. They weren't very clear, so I'm not entirely certain. But
the thing I'm hoping is that hopefully more people get out to Villa Park, because if Villa Park can be full, that would be great for the team.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially because the way they're playing, I mean, yeah, we parked it against Liverpool, but like you were saying, it was a much better park than what we saw last year. So the football has been more attractive finally under Lambert.
Yeah, and I think it was Andrew from our site who was saying something about the fact that team chemistry seems a lot better than it has been in recent years. And maybe it's because
they actually care about playing for each other out there.
Yeah, it may be because Culverhouse and Karsa are gone, and maybe Keane, who everyone was terrified of when we signed him, because he seemed like a real asshole. Maybe he's surprised us all, and he's been the guy that unites that clubhouse.
I think he'd be a great influence in the clubhouse because he was a terrific player for Manchester United. And maybe some of the tackling that Villa have been doing has been learned from him. I think he's one of the dirtiest players in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. There's an article up yesterday, as you guys are hearing this, from one of the new writers at our site, Adam Clark, that's a really fantastic look at Villa's new nasty streak. And he wonders, at least partially, if it's not up to Keane that Villa have sort of a nasty streak to them.
I mean, Roy Keane ended a guy's career in the Manchester Derby, and that was before the Manchester Derby even mattered.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a dirty player. And I'm sure he's probably bringing at least some of that influence in there and at least telling them to tackle, like everything in the world depends on every tackle.
Yeah, well, like Senderos says about Joey Barton's tackling, he says he's going to come in your face, and really, they've been going hard into the tackles, and I think part of that's been Keane's influence. Part of it's I think confidence. I think you're steaming into tackles when you're confident that you're going to win the ball. You're not going to go in there and try to get sent off.
Yeah, absolutely. And that confidence. Do you think Villa can take a hit in confidence that'll come with probably inevitably when they lose a match or two?
Yeah, I think it's just a ticking time bomb. One of these upcoming fixtures, Villa are going to get smoked. It's bound to happen. We can't live in a fantasy world forever. But that's kind of why I wanted to go decently far in the cup. I think if the confidence hit was going to come, it was going to be from that cup game of losing to a much, 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 much lower quality of an opponent than Villa have even beaten this season. So.
And the thing is, though, there seems to have been no confidence hit there. So maybe
That's what I mean, yeah.
maybe the players actually bought into Lambert's idea of screw the cup, let's focus on the league.
That's true because, you think about you're playing Football Manager beginning of the season, maybe you set the bonus for the cup at very low, like a no bonus, and you set the bonus for the league as double. So I think maybe you want the league there, and I think it's more about not just avoiding that confidence hit, but just keeping level-headed. Villa know that they're not the best team in the league or the second best team in the league, but they're in second right now, and if they're just able to keep even keel, go week to week, really it's stupid to say, but you just got to focus on the next game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess it's stupid because it's coach speak, but really just don't get ahead of yourself.
And they've got every opportunity to keep this up. And the only thing that makes
before the season, I thought the real target, especially if you're Lambert trying to get a new contract extension, is to be safe, completely safe by Christmas. If they have 30 points by Christmas or New Year's around then, I think you're going to be in great shape.
And the way they've been playing, they've gotten themselves out to that start. They are, absolutely able to do that this year. It's going to be rough in the next 6 matches or so, but 30 points is just 20 more points from now. So figure out how you want to cut that.
There's definitely more than 8 games before
make
Christmas.
It 5 wins and 5 draws, and that's 20 points.
Yeah, that would be that.
They've got 15 matches left
15 games until New Year's, yeah, so 5 works for me.
Yeah, 5-5-5, and then you're at 30 points.
Then if you're at that, do you sign Cleverly in January? You sign Vlar, Delph, and Grealish up, which I think is the most important thing to do this season going forward. Now, who cares about the points? I think Villa are going to be safe.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
Get Lambert. But we gotta move on a little bit. Callum Robinson just got loaned out. I think that's because Andy Vyman and Gabi Agbalnahor have done so well. So Robert's got a little bit of a loan recap. He just left yesterday. Well, 2 days ago when you're hearing this. He
just left yesterday and appeared in the 67th minute of Preston North End versus Chesterfield. Didn't score anything. In that match, he went up against Daniel Johnson, another Villa loanee. But neither player really did much of anything. Nevertheless, an amusing match because I got to, I wanted to see what the two of them did. So I looked up the statistics, and after 28 minutes, Preston North End led 3-0. And at the end of the match, it was a 3-3 draw thanks to a hat trick that all came after the 31st minute from one of the Chesterfield players. Talk about a kick in the nuts.
I don't really think the result is too big to look into, but just getting first team minutes even at that level for both Johnson and Robinson I think is important because we saw Villa loan out actually a lot of players this summer and work the loan market, even bring Cleverly in. I'd consider that to be working the loan market. And you look at Chelsea, you know why Chelsea are so successful because they have 26 players out on loan.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if Villa have 26 players they could send out on loan.
No, I don't know if they. Yeah, but that's not the point. I'm just saying.
I know. It's
especially
just
flops last year like Tunev and Elenius. Other guys I'm gonna forget about at least until next summer. It's perfect because they actually get to play and not just train. So
Yeah. What was it? Alexander Tonev, was it, that I just saw was in a racial thing? Yeah, that's it. Aberdeen reported Tonev for racial abuse in one of his games. Did you see that?
Interesting. What is he?
Yeah.
Racist against Scotsmen?
Yeah, apparently, so Tonev is now up with Celtic, and he apparently kept tackling hard some black player, and Aberdeen decided that it was racially motivated. And Tonev, of course, is vehemently denying it. Celtic are vehemently denying it. And there hasn't been a decision yet, but I was just shocked to see, Tonev's name come up that way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we didn't get to see a lot of him last year, so it's really hard to judge his personality, but I'd hope he's not that kind of a guy, and we know Stan wasn't that kind of a guy, and that's really why I think Tonev was brought to Villa, because of Petrov. So
Yeah.
that'd be not really a great way of repaying someone's trust, but
Yeah, no kidding. So, but
I hadn't heard that actually.
I'm willing to give Tonev the benefit of a doubt there. Everyone there is very vehemently denying it, and apparently Aberdeen made the accusation just because of a few hard tackles on, I believe it was Shea Logan.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything in that.
And I obviously didn't get to see the match, so I don't know. But until the Scottish FA rules on this, I'm willing to give Tonev the benefit of a doubt. But in that light, it's nice to see good loan news coming out of Callum Robinson and Daniel Johnson playing against one another.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, something positive moving forward, but got to get to the Arsenal preview. Of course, that's who Villa have this weekend.
The big match.
And that's going to be at Villa Park, right?
Yeah, it will be, unfortunately. Because I have shades of last year at Arsenal.
Yeah, that was, I mean, even Antonio Luna scored there.
Yeah, no kidding. So, it's a good place for Villa to be. That said, Arsenal are coming in a pretty injury-plagued club.
Yeah, Arsenal's still undefeated, same as Villa, but just actually one win in the 3 draws for them so far in the league.
They're taking the West Brom route.
They took a point from Man City, which is good, and they got a point against Everton, which, I mean, yeah, I'd say Arsenal are better than Everton, but not by a whole lot. And Leicester took a point from them, but they did beat Palace on opening day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're in 7th with 5 points, or 6 points, excuse me. Villa still in 2nd with the 10 points, but yeah, what you were getting to, the injuries that Arsenal have, it seems like Arsenal always have a ton of people injured.
And again, that may be a factor of sort of what we were joking about with Chelsea there. They have enough players that they can always have injuries. But,
but if they didn't have these injuries, they would be a title contender maybe. I think when I think about Arsenal, I think they're frankly not entirely scary without Theo Walcott.
Yeah, absolutely. And they will be missing Walcott. They'll be missing Debuchy. Flamini may or may not make it. Giroud is obviously out.
Yaya Sanogo, their second-string striker. Wilshere, I think Wilshere's out. Yeah, Jack Wilshere. I think we'll probably see Welbeck at striker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Arsenal without a first-choice striker is a little less terrifying.
Yeah, and I think they're lucky they bought him. I mean, their backup right now, I think, is Joel Campbell. We saw him at the World Cup for Costa Rica. I think he would be really good for Arsenal, but never gets a chance. I guess another option would be to go Alexis Sanchez up front, and frankly, that's also terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got ran by Dortmund yesterday. It was like Dortmund had about 23 shots, Arsenal had 3, and it was 2-0. But I think Dortmund are really one of the top clubs in the world and a bona fide Champions League contender.
Yeah.
Arsenal not so much. Arsenal, I think we're still maybe 2 or 3 signings away from contending for the Premier League title. They needed a center back, then they sold Vermaelen, which meant they need another center back, and they didn't buy any. So they're really one or two injuries away from having some youth team players in the back line.
Yeah, I was you never want to be excited when someone gets injured. But I was a little bit excited when I saw that Debuchy was out for Arsenal, because them without a right back means that Villa can run rampant up that left side.
Their new right back Hector Bellerin is probably close to as fast as Melnor. He played yesterday.
And he may be, but he's also fairly inexperienced in the Premier League.
That's true. He hasn't gotten really any playing time for them.
And he played yesterday, so he's going to be a little fatigued coming into the match. So I like Villa's chances going up that left side with Richardson, with Sissoko. I'm not sure if the pump it into the box method is still going to work yet, because Benteke probably won't be back.
No, he's still going to be back. I think October 4th. He just started training again this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
I can't see him being back, but just the idea of being able to. I wish this match were 2 weeks later in the same situation, except with Benteke back, because having that left flank open and Benteke waiting in the box would just give me so much faith in what Villa could do.
Yeah, undoubtedly, I think, and especially because going into the center against Arsenal's center backs isn't really too intimidating either.
No, it really isn't. Arsenal are a very good team. Arsenal are in all likelihood a better team than Aston Villa. But catching them where we are right now, with Villa on the momentum run they're on right now, gives me a fair amount of hope for this match.
Yeah, and after a midweek Champions League trip to Dortmund.
Yeah, so what are you thinking we end up seeing here?
Honestly, if I was going to make a prediction, I would say I think 1-1. I think Villa get a draw here.
I could see that as well. Keep both teams unbeaten just for the sake of keeping 3 unbeaten teams.
Yeah, sure. I mean, neither of them are going to challenge Chelsea in any capacity, but yeah, I think another point for Villa would be great. Taking a point from all the teams, excluding QPR, in this run has to be the goal. If you do that, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, and inevitably they're going to drop a few. They're probably going to lose.
But inevitably they're probably going to win one.
Mm-hmm, absolutely, and so that makes up for a couple of drops. So
yeah,
it's so strange, because last week when we talked, we said if they could get through this run with 3 points, we'd probably be happy. And now that they've gotten those 3 points, we're going, well, okay, we should probably be seeing more.
I think so.
5 or 6 out of the next 6 matches is not crazy to ask for.
No, it's just, maybe a win and 2 draws, or 2 wins and then the rest losses.
Yeah, and
that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's the only problem with Villa doing what they're doing, is they keep raising the bar a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's what you want to do. We haven't quite seen it in the terms of the end of the season table the past couple of years, but I think Lambert's teams have undeniably gotten better. The past 2 years.
And this is sort of the apex of everything we've seen.
And I think the thing is, we saw that kind of the cluster of the bottom 12 last year, and I think we're seeing that again. I think even though those teams have been spending, like West Ham, Enner Valencia is great for West Ham and what they've been bringing in, but at the end of the day, all those teams a lot of those teams are basically just basically mercenaries, and I don't know. I think the bottom of the Premier League is still pretty weak.
Mm-hmm.
So this really could be the year to try to finish. at least 10th.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised that we don't have any teams who are pointless right now.
Yeah, Newcastle have been atrocious, but they looked better than Villa in that game. But Newcastle have kind of had Villa's number.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just about, they should probably be pointless. I'm shocked that West Brom have any points.
Yeah, I'm shocked kind of by Burnley. I think Leicester have been really positive. They've actually tried to play football, which is nice.
Yeah, I from what I've seen of Leicester, I kind of want them to stay up.
Yeah, that's fine. There's going to be a lot worse teams than Villa that will go down. I think. You never know what you're going to see from QPR.
Yeah. Hopefully nothing. Hopefully we never have to see anything from QPR.
Yeah.
I hate QPR. And I know I'm really unique in that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else really does.
No, I'm pretty sure everyone else is either ambivalent or loves QBR. I'm probably the only
Yeah.
person in the world.
Yeah, or even Palace after the way the Pula situation unfolded. But
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Uh, but
even they put in 3 against Newcastle.
yeah,
So
but
just weird, but
I would agree with you. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw on Saturday.
1-1.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean,
the
we
fact that
all
I'm watching means it'll probably be 0-0.
yeah, probably. I mean, both us and Jacob last week predicted Liverpool wins. He said 3-1. I said 1-0. I didn't remember what you said,
I don't remember either.
but yeah, maybe 2-1 or something. I don't know, but yeah, I mean we all know how it turned out. Great win against Liverpool. Hoping Villa can keep the momentum going this week. Got any final thoughts, Robert? We
None
both said
whatsoever, other than, give us some money for the Kickstarter, and that way Villa will never stop losing. Or never stop winning, God.
yeah, yeah. The opposite of not stop losing. So I mean, yeah, I think a draw would be good going in. You look at a point, you take it, but really, yeah, that's all the time we have this week. So I just want to thank you for joining us. Remember, we're still on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, Stitcher, or you could even watch the video if you like. So for Robert Lintott, I'm Jack Grimsey, and for 7500 to Holt, thanks for joining us on the Holtecast.